What up, guys? Brennan here with Wake Productions, bringing you another video. Just wanted to do a little update on some progress for the project car. So finally, and I do mean finally, I ended up getting a transmission for it. So this is an aftermarket case and tail housing Power Glide. Was built by Hutch Transmissions. It actually was in a buddy's car, and he ran it to low 8s at 160 something. He ended up getting out of drag racing, at least at that level. He kind of went overboard on his project and decided to end up selling the car and the motor, and then he ended up picking up like a 2018 GT, so he wanted something he could drive on the street this time around because he went full race. So be interesting to see what he does with that. But yeah, this is built by Hutch, and it was refreshed locally. As you can see, it's obviously the aftermarket case, and there's a lot of good internals in there for it. I think it's good to like 13 or 1400 horse at the wheels, so I'm not really worried about it. Moving on, let's see. So as I mentioned in the last one, I did get the full suspension in front and rear. Something I did run into, which was kind of weird, is I got these wheelie skis from TIG Vision. So essentially, they sit under here. Well, I got that backwards. Did I have the wrong one? Yeah, I did. So they not my day. Alright. So they'll sit under here, so if you do a wheelie, you'll come down on these, and these will crush instead of destroying your oil pan and then losing your oil and then your motor. So something I ran into on that, and it's making me think maybe I don't have the K-member completely square, is I could not get these back sections to perfectly line up. I don't know if you can see it with those two bolts under there. It was probably about an 1/8 inch off, so what I'm probably going to do is take loose all these K-member bolts again on both sides, and then try to line it up based off those bolts with this being on, and seeing if it corrects my geometry issue. Aside from that, as you can obviously see from the paint, let's see here, I have been using Rust-Oleum to paint the underside where the roll cage kind of comes in. I had a few drips here recently, and this is just the first coat, so I've hit the bad areas with iron wool to clean them up and get rid of the drips, and then I'll be doing another coat. You can't really see it very well, but there were quite a few drips under here, so essentially did the primer layer first, and then over top of that just the basic Rust-Oleum. Made quite a mess doing it, but whatever. As long as the car's protected, I'm not all that concerned. So I also ended up picking up the ARP head studs for my motor. They're the 12-point and the 2000 material, so about as strong as you can get. Also ended up using the Felpro head gaskets, and probably going to be throwing 25 to 30 pounds of boost at the motor, and so it's going to be interesting. To tell you a little bit about the motor, obviously it's not in there right now. It's out at the machine shop. I'm going to be using, well, I have a Texid block. It's 20 over. Going to be using the stock crank, and then I got Manley billet I-beams and the Manley pistons. It's a 10-to-1 compression. The heads are from Livernois Motorsports. It's their full race port. Full CNC race port, I should say. And then for the intake, I have a friend who owns a business here in Colorado. It's called J2 Fabrication. You should check him out. Essentially what we're going to be doing is his flow mod on this, so it increases the coolant flow to the intercooler, so it'll allow you to obviously cool the air more efficiently. And then we're going to build a hat for the stock supercharger lower, so I can go directly from the turbo into that hat, which acts as the intake, because it is the intake, and it'll eliminate a lot of extraneous piping. So that'll be really cool to see when he's done. I think right now he is helping design a billet hat on the CNC machine for another customer's car. So it'll be awesome to see when it's done. So essentially, probably have the turbo sit right about here, feed directly into the intake manifold, and because the lower is an air to water, it'll get rid of any upfront piping and all that weight, which will be awesome. Turbo is going to be an 80mm Borg S485, probably from Forced Inductions, so that'll be pretty awesome to see. I hope to be getting those towards the end of summer to the end of the year. They're kind of lower on the priority list. I'll probably be getting this car front half to knock off about 50 pounds, get rid of all this, make it all tube framed, give me a lot more room. Going to be going to manual brakes and manual steering too, so it gets rid of as much clutter as possible. I might street the car every now and then, but overall, it's going to be not a street car. It's going to be more focused on drag racing than street. And for those new to the channel, new to the build, I know the people who watch me know, but car is rocking a Ford 9-inch. It is a Team Z housing and Mark Williams internals. Obviously ran with the Mark Williams brakes too. It was really cool them. After I sent them the housing and they put all the internals and stuff in, they gave me dealer pricing on the brakes, so kind of had to go with it. Just some other quick notes. I'm also starting to post some of my photos on Instagram. I do a lot of trackside video and photo, so be sure to check me out. Still under the moniker Wake Productions. Aside from that, I'll let you guys know as this keeps progressing. Going to be a long build, but we're in it for the long haul. Have a good one.